bought the exact same meal in a small grocery store in my local town in Germany and in probably the most iconic store in whole Canada, in the Maple Leaf Garden Loblaws in Toronto. And this receipt is a disaster. Loblaws is actually under fire for hiking prices enormously. And as a German expert, I just had to know if Canadians actually pay a monopoly tax. In this video, I've done the math. I converted the currency and I will show you the exact difference in percentage right at the end. So stay tuned. Actually, you cannot buy everything you need down there in the Loblaws, which you will see in a few seconds. In Germany, if we come into the market, the first thing we see is alcohol, like the half stores, basically beer and liquor. But here, you have to go upstairs into an LCBO where they check your ID in order to get some beer. This is probably the biggest difference already you can see here. Apart from this thing, is actually pretty cool down there. But I will show you this in a minute. I would have loved this as a kid. I would ask my mom every time we would go here if I could get a cake. This is so cool. I think they're also not too expensive, which is fine. I would wish we have something like this in Germany. There's food everywhere which you can just pick up and eat for lunch or for dinner if you're too lazy to cook. And this is actually pretty awesome. This looks amazing. Everything is sorted by color and for every different fruit. You have such a big choice and yeah, just looks amazing. All right, as there is no mixed pork and beef, I have to choose ground pork. I think this is a bit more fair instead of taking the more expensive option. But this is something we have to keep in mind for the fair comparison. We now got the Parmigiano cheese as well. All right, so now we need some spaghetti. We will take the Barilla as well because it's the same brand and I think this makes the most sense. Actually, it's cheaper if we take two, so I will take two, but we only count for one, so it stays fair. And if we turn around, this is so awesome. We are here at the center of the Toronto Maple Leafs Arena, and I think this is pretty cool. But I also think you're paying a hefty price tag. I could be wrong, we'll find out in a bit. All right, and this is what I mean by you have so many different options and such a big choice. I will take the diced tomatoes here as well. The cans are so much bigger than in Germany, but it doesn't matter because we need it anyways for our spaghetti bolognese. This was the last thing. Now we go to the self-checkouts. This doesn't look too good. Let's see at home how it went. For the comparison, I chose the dish spaghetti bolognese. So we will buy some ground beef, some diced tomatoes, and some spaghetti and some cheese. So this is the comparison I want to make, and I want to see where it is more expensive. And first of all, because you always spend money on the venue as well, I just want to show you where we are buying our stuff here, and it's pretty much comparable to the Canadian Loblaws. So we are in a more high-priced supermarket. And yeah, this is how it looks in the mall. This is a very rural area, but you can get the point. All right, first thing first, for spaghetti bolognese, or spaghetti, we will take the cheapest spaghetti available in both stores. All right, so apparently Barilla is the cheapest noodles in the store. You pay for 1 kilo €1.60. At the end I will show the prices in Canadian and euros so that you can compare it, and I will also show the kilo prices when we have like different sizes. So this is 500 grams of spaghetti, which is good for a normal portion, I would say. A thing I really miss in Canada is like light ham in cubes. I never saw this in the Loblaws, and I usually eat this for breakfast. And everything, like this is basically bacon, but completely lean, no fat. And Canadian bacon is so fatty all the time, which is quite a bummer. All right, up next is my favorite cheese, or one of my favorite cheese. Parmesan or Parmesan, and I really like those chips because you can also snack them without like anything because they have pretty good nutrition. Another thing that is very different, the nutritions in Germany are always 200 grams, so in Canada I don't get it, it's always in a different measurement. So like for cheese it would be
1 ounce or 1 cup or whatever, but here it's always 200 grams, which makes sense. We need some mixed ground beef, so it's pork and beef, but this will make the bolognese much yummier in my opinion. So this is the last thing we need, some tomatoes. This is a pretty small one, but we are comparing like 100 grams all the time, so it doesn't really matter, and I think that should be fine. So let's check out how much it costs. Alright, we're now back on the way home. This is how the parking lot looks like. It's very rural.
Now to the final comparison. To keep things fair, I have chosen that we will give the prices in 100 grams and then we will make a total for 400 grams of spaghetti bolognese, even though you wouldn't cook it that way. Doesn't matter. All right, let's start with the pork ground beef. We paid $1.43 Canadian cents for 100 grams of pork ground beef. Now to Germany.
For the ground beef, we paid $1.60 per 100 grams.
Next up is the spaghetti. So we paid 61 cents per 100 grams for the spaghetti. And now to Germany.
And for the spaghetti, we also paid 26 Canadian cents per 100 grams.
Diced tomatoes is next. We paid 29 cents for 100 grams of diced tomatoes.
For the tomatoes, we paid 26 Canadian cents per 100 grams.
Last but not least, Parmesan cheese. And in Canada, it's crazy expensive. We paid $5.50 for 100 grams of Parmesan cheese, which is just incredibly expensive.
Right, so for the Parmesan cheese, we paid $3.80 per 100 grams.
So now to the finale. Who actually won and who has the cheaper prices? Germany won. Germany is 32% cheaper than Toronto. But not every item is more expensive here, but rather the Parmesan cheese and the noodles. The spaghetti is 100% more expensive here than it is in Germany, which is insane. The Parmesan cheese is 50% more expensive. If you compare that, I think this comes from Italy, so I think that is okay. But for the noodles, I think they're from Italy too, but 100% more for noodles, for spaghetti, this is just crazy. But actually, the ground pork was cheaper, though we said it's not actually the same product. So I guess it's pretty much the same here, but I'll give you that point. At least 1 out of 4 items is cheaper. The diced tomatoes is actually the exact same. So for the shopping experience, Loblaws is amazing. You have all these different kinds of food, and this is probably the most Canadian supermarket I have ever seen. With the Maple Leafs logo on the ground, just amazing. But you pay a hefty price tag for that. I think at No Frills or another supermarket, you could probably save up a little bit. But I think in total, this won't change too much. I think overall, this will still stay the same here. Last but not least, the bonus programs are totally different. Where in Germany, I can collect miles and more miles and enjoy my next flight in the business class for free. Here, I just collect PC Optimum points, which are converted to 1 cent or something. I think it's not the same. I really do like that about Germany, and that would be so great, and I think also possible because Air Canada is also a cool airline. So, Germany won, 32% cheaper. Thank you guys for watching. I hope I will see you in the next video. It's freezing cold outside. The next video will be in the path and I will take a big walking tour. Thank you guys. Till then.